Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Art and Recap. I'm your artist Faye and today we are reading chapter 187 to 191 of Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 187, Azek's Warnings. Okay, so Klein picks up the letter that Mr. Azek's messenger practically hurled at him in the carriage and puts it in his pocket. Once he arrives at his house, he gets off the carriage, looks over at the driver Cesare, who is working with the Nighthawks. Actually, it's their personal driver, and was like, doesn't seem like Cesar realized what happened earlier, and it doesn't seem like something is wrong with him after looking him over with his spiritual vision. So then Klein is like, okay, seems like he's fine, let's move on, and he goes back into his house. But it's very particular and peculiar the way he entered his house, because once he was there he was like debating if he should scale up the wall of his house to get into his room on the second floor or something, but then was like, nah, let's still act like a gentleman and just sneak inside the house like a freaking thief instead. And it was like, Klein, why exactly are you sneaking around like this? Why, it's your own house. And I know it's probably late and he probably didn't want to wake up his siblings or, God forbid, the maid. And he's like, it's still strange that he's sneaking around like that to his room. But yeah, so he actually apparently has a special lock in his room that only he can unlock. And I'm like, that makes sense, especially if you have a helper now that is probably going to go into your room to clean up your mess, and you have Beyonder stuff in there. Like, imagine if the maid goes in there and Klein happens to have some sort of mystical animals, I don't know, organs, whatever, brain matters, scales, stuff in there, like hidden in his closet, but she has to like clean up his closet or put away his clothes and it's just there. Oh, I'd be panicking. I'd be like, what the fuck is my employer doing? So Klein sneaks in his room and that's when he starts reading Mr. Azek's letter. And Mr. Azek thanks him for warning him about Chilancos, because now it's clear to him why exactly there are like policemen that's like basically going in and out of his room searching stuff. And also there was apparently a Beyonder that snuck into his room to see if he's actually Chilancos in disguise, because Chilancos has the power to transform and change shape because of that mystical item that he has that is very similar to a shepherd's power, which apparently Mr. Azek kind of has a vague recollection of, right? So then Mr. Azek explains to Klein in the letter how to do the sacrificial ritual. He also warns him that he should have a very strong sense of right and wrong, otherwise the evil gods or devils, whatever out there, is going to start tricking him. And I was thinking, and Klein, not I, but I was also thinking after Klein thought it, Klein was like, oh, so it's kind of like how there's like internet people who are saying they're like a teenage girl when in reality they're actually a 40-year-old man. And I was thinking to myself, you know what, that makes sense, Klein. It's like Mr. Azek is warning Klein that there are catfish gods out there. So I was thinking that I was thinking when I was reading this, I was thinking, oh my god, what if there's like a god out there, like an evil god that's like acting as if they're an e-girl and they want your money. I don't know why, but I find that so funny. And I was imagining Klein low-key being like this to some Beyonders, right? Like he's acting like this high and mighty god, but he's actually just, Klein Moretti. He's not an e-girl, not yet, at least. Maybe he is in my heart. Anyways, moving on from that weird train of thought, Klein continues to read, and Mr. Azek explains how he has to do the rituals, about how that god has a specific symbol. And Klein was thinking, what is actually the symbol of the the fool, basically the god? Is it actually the symbol that's seen on his chair? Is that the symbol? And is that going to be the symbol that he's going to associate with himself? And I was thinking, you know what, that is possible, but at the same time I feel like his symbol is actually the 4 dots that appeared on his hand when he first got into the Grey World area, and also when Audrey and Alger first got into the Grey World area. I'm pretty sure they had those symbols too. But wait, I can't be sure. Did they have that, or did I imagine that? It's been a long time, okay, guys. But yeah, so I'm thinking it might be those 4 dots. But yeah, I guess the symbol of the fool could also be possible. But he's also seeing symbols on the others' chairs. So why are they also over there? Is it the symbol? Because wait, my train of thought. Because I thought that those symbols symbolizes the pathway that they are on, right? For Audrey, it was some sort of dragon-looking eye, right? So I was thinking, wait, if there's another spectator, are they also going to have the same symbol? So if there's going to be another seer or another, well, not another Mr. Fool, but another seer, another person in the seer pathway, aren't they going to be having the same symbol as Klein? So it can't be that that's the symbol for his godly persona, because it's just too obvious, I feel like. That's why I'm thinking that it's the 4 dots. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so that's what happened. Klein continues to read, and Mr. Essex gives him tips and tricks how to say it, that he has to pray in like these ancient languages, yada yada yada. And yeah, that's when we cut off the POV and move on to Chilankos. And Chilankos is like looking at himself in the mirror as he transforms into a different man. 188, ball. Do you know ball? Ball as in a dance ball, not an actual ball. Anyway, we are in Chilanko's POV right now. He is checking himself out in the mirror to see if his transformation has any flaws. And then he has the man's unconscious body and stuffs it into a closet, a wardrobe basically. And when he did that, I was reading, that is very nice of him to just stuff it in the wardrobe. Like, he could have just killed him, right? And then the next paragraph, like literally the next paragraph, Chilanko snaps the man's neck. And I was like, well, I mean, I guess that works too. So he goes out. Well, before he goes out, he checks that he's like the perfect impersonation of that guy. And then he goes out and talks to the butler and tells the butler, hey, don't go inside my room. I have something very important in there, so don't step a foot in. And the butler is like, of course, sir. Your carriage is waiting for you with the invitation to a ball, right? So I was thinking, you know what? The only time that butler is probably gonna step foot into that room is when the corpse starts smelling, probably, unless of course they catch on to the fact that Chilankos is, impersonating the guy. So yeah, and then we find out that the Baron that he's impersonating is actually in debt, and that he still has like a bunch of people employed just out of pride. Yeah, yada yada yada, and then he goes to the ball. And then we go change POV to Sio Derecha. She was sitting cross-legged on a bed and looking at Forest Wall, who was reading a novel with the light from the window. And when I read that, I was like, sounds like very cottagecore here. Lesbian cottagecore. Let's go, ladies. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Okay. So we find out that they actually reported their findings about that mafia boss that got absolutely massacred by Chilankos when he set up a trap for them. They reported it to the police anonymously, of course, and the police was like, shit, this is beyond our shenanigans. Let's go get the mandated punishers into this too. And then the news about Vice Admiral Hurricane being in Backland was widely spread among all of the teams, like the police enforcement teams, like the mandated punisher, Nighthawks, and the Hive Mind. They have all now have the knowledge that he is in Backland. So they're all investigating on the down low about Chilancos, and Tio and Force were also, they're in hiding from all of them, basically, from Chilancos and the police force, because they are beyonders that aren't part of the authorities, basically. And we all know that that's not very looked fondly upon. So that's why they're also in hiding from the Popo, basically. And then we find out that Sio actually has a goal, and why there's a reason why she wants to get to sequence 8 or 7 or higher is because there's something that she wants to take back that belonged to their family, and that it's been a year since she last saw her younger brother. And I was thinking, is she gonna die? I was thinking, she's talking as if she has a death flag right now. She is definitely going to die, isn't she? And Force is going to avenge her, or try to live through her, basically. I don't know. And also there's just this romantic aspect of the fact that if Sio Derecha dies, Force will be like, oh, I am going to write a story in your honor, basically make a main character as her, but at the same time all the adventures that happened are the adventures that Force went through. I don't know, I feel like that's very sweet and romantic, but at the same time, is there a death flag on Sia? I have a feeling it's just there. I'm just feeling it in my bones. Okay? So we also find out that Force actually hears the ravings of, the whispers from her potion during the full moon. And I was thinking, is it possible that she is going to become a werewolf in the future? Just, food for thought. Just a theory. And then she says that unless we receive the favors from an orthodox deity or the attention of some friendly hidden existence, climb already. It will be impossible for them to fulfill their wishes. And yeah, so I am thinking, is she going to join the Tarot Club members? It's a high possibility, because why else are we actually going to be following Sio and Force and also Audrey at the same time? Because Audrey is already part of the Tarot Club, right? But at the same time, she is kind of stuck in Backland, and Sio and Force has more they have more travel experience, like they can travel more than her, unless of course something big happens to Audrey, which will force her to travel away or go somewhere else. I don't think that it makes sense to have Force and Sio there. How do I explain this? Basically, what I'm trying to say is that because Audrey is so integrated into high society, it's impossible for her to act freely, basically, compared to Alger or Force and Sio. But the thing is, Alger, he is stuck at sea half the time, right? I don't think he actually has the chance to go more deeper inwards into the world, because again, he is out voyaging, and because it's part of his potion, right? On the other hand, Force and also Sio, they have more movement opportunities. They can travel the world a lot better. And also, I think Traveler, is it possible that Traveler is actually part of Force's sequence? Like, I feel like it's possible because she has the ability to pass through walls, right? So I'm like, what better way to do that than become a traveler? Because Chilankos also said, like, he muttered traveler when he when he set up a trap for Force and Seo, and Seo managed Seo and Force. Oh my god, Seo and Force managed to escape him thanks to Force's bracelet. So I'm just thinking it's a possibility, right? Narrative wise, I think it would make sense because then we will see more of the world through their eyes, and then high society through Audrey's eyes, and of course like the seas and whatever the fuck is happening over there through Alger's eyes. And Klein, well, we follow Klein anyway. Anyways, switching POV again, we are finally with Audrey's POV. She is so tired of the ball. She's like, oh, I am so over this. Because she is at the ball right now and she decided, hey, I'm going to go get some rest and go to the private rooms. So she heads over there, and on her way, she passes by Baron Gramir. And Baron Gramir, they had like small pleasantries, and as she walks away to, go to her rooms, she was like, wait a second, there's something different about that guy. He is a lot more confident than before, and also he smells different. I know this sounds crazy, but the guy smells more strongly of amber, because apparently in her memories, the Baron is a little bit of an awkward turtle when it comes to ladies that are of higher statuses than him, especially, and that they can never actually meet their eyes. In comparison to now, this guy happens to be a lot more confident. And also again, the smell, the cologne. She's like, usually the Baron, he puts on his cologne a couple hours earlier before he goes into the party, so that the cologne is more subtle, but this time is very, very strong. So she's like, something is very different about that guy. And she's like, what if that guy is actually Chilankos? Because again, she knows that Chilankos can transform into anything or anyone he wants, actually, not anything. And she's like, fuck, I need to warn father about this. So she heads over to the room where her father was, and he was socializing with other people, and she pulls him aside and was like, Dad, I need to talk with you like real quick. So she pulls him aside. She tells him that she thinks that Baron Gramir might actually be Shilankos, and she's like, I actually heard it from Viscount Galaint, her gay best friend, that Chilankos is in town right now, and that he can transform into anyone that he wants. And I am just so worried, Daddy. I am so worried about all of this, and I don't want to be in danger. Yada yada yada. So her dad was like, "Don't worry, my daughter, my beloved. Just go to your mother's room. I'll take care of everything." So she was ushered to go to the lobby with her mother. But instead of going there, she actually goes into the Duke, the host's prayer room. Duke Negan is what he's called, his prayer room, and started praying to Klein over there because again she was nervous and she wanted to report her findings basically. And yeah, that is basically how this chapter ends. Chapter 189, Prayers and Replies. Okay, so we find ourselves in Tingan City, Daffodil Street with Klein Moretti and his siblings. Currently, he is discussing with them going to a theater play, and he's trying to convince Melissa to come because, goddamn, Klein hasn't had any entertainment in ages. So he's like, guys, this theater play is so popular right now. We have to watch it. And Melissa was still like, I don't know about that. And he had to tell her that the most popular supporting cast character is like a genius mechanic, because again, she's like trying to become a genius mechanic, right? So she's like, okay, you know what? Fine. I guess we have to watch a big play once in our entire life at least. And so she's like low-key excited for it. I feel like this is like the play that they wanted to watch at the end of the Donghua, but it never happened because of shit. So I'm guessing it was that. I thought that Melissa was the one who had everything planned in the Donghua, like she wanted them to go to that play to help Klein relax, but apparently it was like Klein who was trying to convince her and that it wasn't really like a surprise, because in the donghua it was like, it felt like she saved enough money for Klein and her and Benson to go to that play, but I guess not. Anyway, Klein is like super excited about that because like, I haven't had any entertainment like this in a while. Like, I used to watch TV all the goddamn time on Earth, and now I barely do any of that. So this is something that I really really want to experience. And also he's like, honestly, aside from watching the play, I actually also would want to just, chill out at the bar and play billiards, but I can't do that because I have to keep up my gentlemanly aesthetic basically. So he's like, yeah, let's go, I'm super excited. And then he became a little bit dizzy and realized, hey, someone is praying to me, I'm getting a prayer over here. So he's like, okay guys, I need to write a report for work, I'll leave you guys to do whatever you guys are doing. And Benson's like, yeah, it's back to the sea of knowledge for us. He's like, I'm gonna go back to studying. And yeah, so Klein went to his room and he activated the spiritual wall and yada yada yada, and went into the Greyfolk world, where he found the prayer that Audrey left for him. And Audrey, again, the message was that Shilankos is in the ball that she's attending, and she wanted to let him know, and also she kind of needs help, yada yada yada. And he's like, okay, this is great, I need to talk to Alger. I need to tell Alger about this, but how can I convey this message without relaying the whole thing myself, because I need to still be like a god, right? She's like, oh, you know what, how about I turn this into like a movie? He gave Alger, like he contacted Alger, who was in his office at Backland. He contacted Alger, made him dizzy, and Alger got a vision of Audrey praying and telling Klein exactly what she said. But she was, of course, mosaic, like to keep her anonymity, because again, she's obviously justice. But it's not like Alger couldn't figure it out with the dress that wasn't mosaiced. Like, if he saw Audrey and she was wearing the same dress and he puts two and two together, he'd be like, wait a fucking second, your face might have been blocked out by the fool, but not your extravagant dress. Like, obviously Audrey will have like a unique ass dress, she's not just going to be wearing like a white dress. But yeah, so I feel like if Alger saw Audrey and yeah, saw her dress, he'll be like, yeah, you are definitely Miss Justice. Okay. Okay. I can put two and two together because Alger doesn't seem like he's dumb. Anyway. So there's that. That's what happened. And also Klein, he wrote to Mr. Asic about what happened, like a quick warning just in case, and sent it off to Mr. Asic. And that's pretty much it for this chapter. Chapter 190, The Assortment of Abilities. Okay, so we are now following Chilanko's POV again, and he is currently at the ball at the second floor, and he's overlooking all of the females dancing around, but he's like not really checking them out. He like gives no fucks about them. Who he's checking out is actually Duke Negan. Duke Negan is actually his target of assassination. And he's like, okay, this guy, he is still wearing his Admiral outfit. Apparently, Duke Negan really likes to wear his military uniform to remind people of his glory days, basically. And when I was reading that, I was thinking, oh my god, this guy peaked at the military. Okay, I get it. He's like that crazy ass jock. Anyway, so Chilankos was checking him out, and well, he's like, okay, this Duke definitely has some Beyonders around to guard him, and he is looking at all the gentlemen surrounding Duke Negan and trying to pinpoint out who exactly that Beyonder could be. And that Beyonder was the guy standing next to the Duke and staying quiet. So he's like, yeah, that's definitely the Beyonder. So with that in mind, he starts to do his plan. Basically, he cuts out the chandelier and it falls down to the people, and in the darkness, everybody basically panics and he attacks the Beyonder that was guarding the Duke. And that Beyonder died instantly. And then he turns to the Duke and was about to attack him, but the Duke turns out to be a Beyonder himself, and ordered he ordered what's his face, Chilankos, to be trapped, and he became trapped in like this invincible wall. And then and then the funniest thing, and then he ordered flog, and the sound effect is like pa pa pa. And you know what? When that order was happening, this is why I'm laughing, because when that happened, I was imagining that he got flogged with a yaoi paddle. If you know what it is, you know what I mean. And I was just like trying my hardest not to laugh when I read that, especially with the sound effect pa pa pa. um it's like, when I was reading this whole thing about Chilakas wanting to assassinate Duke Negan, I was thinking to myself, oh my god, it's like reading a pirate admiral rivalry old man yaoi kind of thing. I don't know, my mind just went there. So that happened. Chilankos got flogged, and it was actually described that it felt like he was being whipped by a shapeless whip. And guys, don't say it, okay? Anyway, Duke Negan, he's like, okay, death. He ordered death, and Chilankos died basically, but turns out Chilankos changed his powers, and now he has the powers of nightmares, and Duke Negan was actually dreaming. But then so Chilankos kills Duke Negan with his hand, like he he punches him through the heart, because his hand is like covered in swirling winds, because that's his power, his original power, and he punches through his heart, and Duke Negan dies. But then it turns out that it's not actually Duke Negan, but someone else, like an illusion or something, like a spirit, and Duke Negan actually walks over, like the real one walks calmly over with other Beyonders around him. And Chilanka's like, fuck, how did they know I was here? This is an ambush, and he ran away. So that is basically how this chapter was going. And also Algar, he came in late with the other deacons, the other church members, the Church of Storm members, and he's like, god damn it, no, because you know what? In the previous chapter, we actually find out that what's it called? Algar, he really wants to kill Chilankos himself, but he's alright having help from others too. But when I read that, I was thinking, what is the beef between Chilankos and Algar actually? It sounds like it's personal, to be honest, and not just something he has to do because it's a mission of his or something, you know? So yeah, that is the chapter. Chapter 191, Unclear Motives. Okay, so Chilankos actually jumped into the river, right? And he swam all the way in the Tusok River, but then he pivoted and went to go to the financial center of Backland instead, because he's like, okay, this shit, people are going to be following my trail easily if I stay in the Tusok River, right? So he did just that. But before he could, escape, something happened. And that something is the fact that Mr. Asik actually tried to attack him. He got ambushed by Mr. Asik, which honestly was actually a surprise for me, because I did not expect Mr. Asik to actually act on, killing Chilankos. But then again, he was interested in the shepherd thing. Yeah, so Mr. Asik's like tiny little minions basically dragged Chilankos underwater, from what I understood. And yeah, and then Chilankos died. Of course, Chilankos fought and tried to survive, and he even used the Beyonder power of the Priest of Light, which is like a sequence 5 pathway, but he still failed because Mr. Asik is, I guess, more OP than him, or actually maybe Mr. Asik is a higher sequence. So if he's a higher sequence, that could mean that he is above level 5, right? Sequence 5 basically, level 5. So yeah, We move on to Algar's POV, and in Algar's POV, the Cardinal A Snake, every time I'm reading A Snake, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be so hard to pronounce this guy's name because it's Ace Snake. And I was actually walking when I was reading this, and I was thinking to myself, okay, wait, let me pronounce it real quick. I was like, A Snake, a Snake? A snake? I was like, wait, so he's technically just like a snake. A snake. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Anyway, so the cardinal is ordering people around, and then he asks Algar, hey, so is there actually anyone else that you told this information to? And Algar's like, no, of course not. I rushed over to find you as soon as I got the information. And also the informant, they even sacrificed themselves to tell me this information, And I was thinking like, oh, that's very, very, very good. I forgot the word. That's very good of you to smoothen out, Algar, and a very good excuse to the fact that you actually don't have an actual informant except for, Klein. So anyway, there's no excuse for, the church to distrust you or your informant then. Anyway, what I was trying to say. Oh, and Algar was thinking to himself, we would have definitely gotten here faster and caught Chilacos if someone hadn't gone on a nice little walk at the Tusok River. And when I was reading, I was thinking, oh my god, Algar, let's not put the blame on the old man. I don't really know if A Snake is old, but apparently he has like white hair, so I'm gonna assume that he's like old. So let's not actually put the blame on the guy for going on a nice little walk. He couldn't have known that you would have information about Chilancos right at that moment, right? Before they could actually go on to search for Chilancos, the cardinal said, wait, I don't think we have to search for him anymore. And then they found Chilancos in the river floating, and his corpse is just like deteriorating really quickly in front of them. And they're like, what the fuck is happening here? And it's like assumed that some sort of other faction got to him first, and Algar, he jumped several hoops in his mind to give Klein the credit, like Klein's Blessed was supposed to be like in Backland, and that's how Chilancos died. And he's like, oh my god, Mr. Fool's Blessed is a demigod. I definitely am not ever going to betray him unless I want that demigod to get sicked on me. So yeah, I'm gonna go and be super loyal to Mr. Fool now. So I'm like, girl, Algar, you really are jumping through a lot of hoops, especially since there's a lot of factions and secret societies in this world. I wouldn't put any doubt in the fact that it could have been a different society or faction or whatever, because again, there are so many. And also, are they even secret if every fucking Beyonder knows about them? Like, it's the oh my god, the factions of like, I don't know, the alchemist, whatever, death god, what, there's just so many factions, and it just feels like everybody knows about them. And now the actual secret faction, which is, the Tarot Club society, the Tarot Club members, they are an actual secret society, because again, nobody knows about them. So I don't know, is it a secret if everybody knows about them? Like every fucking Beyonder at least. The normies, they can stay and be, normies, but every Beyonder feels like they know, like, the societies behind them, like who has every pathways, this and that. So anyway, we move on POV and go over to Audrey's, and she and her dad were talking about Chilancos, and he's asking her, hey, did you actually tell anyone about how the Baron was an imposter? And she's like, well, not really, no, I didn't tell anyone except Mr. Fool, but he doesn't need to know that. And yeah, so the father was like, yeah, because Chilancos is dead, someone killed him. And Arthur's like, wow, who? And the dad's like, no idea, but it's probably, a secret powerful organization, probably. And yeah, and instantly Audrey was thinking that it could be Mr. Fool's Blessed or a Tart Club member, and I was just thinking, come on, girl. So many secret societies and organizations in this world. And the first thing that you thought of is Klein. Like, if I were Audrey or Alger, I would have thought maybe it's actually a different guy or a different person. Because, first and foremost, Klein has stated on and on again that he doesn't want his blessed to do anything at Backlund, that he's not gonna send anyone there. So I would have believed Klein and thought, oh, there's no way it's Mr. Fool. He keeps saying that he doesn't want to do that. So I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Anyways, that is it for this video. But before that, I would actually like to explain a little bit of something about the art. So this is actually some sort of fan art, like I'm doing quotation mark here, for Where Winds Meet. It's basically my character in the game right now. I really enjoy taking pictures in Where Winds Meet, and I took this one picture and basically used it as a reference for my artwork, and I really enjoyed doing this. Like, it's just a lot of fun. I used to do live streams on Twitch, but after a while it just got kind of stressful. I kind of prefer playing without, chat in the background, because I do hyper focus a lot on the games, and I just feel really bad that I miss out on some people chatting with me. And yeah, so I really stopped twitching. I stopped twitching. Oh my god. I'm a little bit tired right now. But I stopped streaming. Sorry, excuse me. So I stopped streaming because of that. I just felt like it got a little bit too stressful. And yeah, so instead I was actually thinking, hey, do you guys want me to post some videos that I record of my gameplay? Like, for example, whenever we do guild wars with the guild, you guys can also hear the guild chat in the background of Discord. We go and have a Discord call. We have a lot of hee ha-has going on here and there. I don't know, I think it would have been fun. It would be fun to post it once in a while, like maybe once a month or something, just gameplay and enjoying a game and stuff that you guys can watch with me reacting in real time during this gameplay. What do you guys think? Yes? No? Anyway, that was Lord of the Mysteries, chapter 187 to 191. What are your thoughts? And before I go, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps my channel out a lot. My commissions are open, and my Vision link is down in the description below. Check out my story, Dreaming of Aurora, if you have the time. And finally, thanks to my patrons, Robek, Vanarik, and J-Volts, Jevelitska for the support. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!